What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Anteiku Nation, where we game and we know things. And today, I want to talk about, you guessed it, Cardfight Vanguard Overdress, the newest in the series. And it's not even, I don't even want to call it the newest in the series. It's more like just a complete overhaul. It is, for all intents and purposes, Vanguard 2.0. But before we begin, guys, please hit that like button if you like this video, smash that subscribe button, and click the bell so that you can be notified each and every time I upload a brand new video. Okay, so for a while we knew that something big was coming to the Vanguard community. We knew that Bushiroad had something up their sleeve, and everybody was like rumoring that it was going to be Vanguard 2.0. It was going to be something new, something special. We didn't know, was it going to be new mechanics? Was it going to be a complete overhaul? You know, what was it that they were holding so close to their chest that, you know, they didn't want us to know until the big reveal? And honestly, no one could have seen what they were going to do. It came as a complete shock. And Overdress, I was skeptic at first, okay? Because at first I was just like, but now I'm like, I'm sold. I'm sold. I've been a very big Vanguard fan since 2012. I went from Yu-Gi-Oh! Into Vanguard when it first started being released on YouTube. I was seeing, you know, Vanguard Season 1. And at the same time I was seeing Vanguard Season 1, I was seeing like Limit Break. So I was seeing Season 2 and trying to catch up, binge watch Season 1 while also trying to watch Season 2. And I was sold. I was hook, line, and sinker. I was sold on Cardfight Vanguard. And to me, nothing has been more magical than the first 2 or 3 seasons, going all the way through the end of Link Joker. There was always going to be something very magical, something very special. And nothing since then has quite hooked me the way that those 3 seasons did. Now, here we are 10 years later, and Bushiroad is like, we've got to do something different. We want to, you know, bring in new players, but we want to keep the old players, and we want to just expand upon our horizons. And so they gave us something even more special. I'm going to say the Overdress is special. It's got so much potential to be what we need it to be. It's got so much potential to take the power creep and maybe some of the other issues that we had within V series, maybe even in G series, and turn that on its head and bring the game back into some balance. Make it something new, something fresh, but at the same time still being Cardfight Vanguard. Now, I first saw the character designs, what we're seeing here, and I was like, oh my god, this kind of looks like, you know, One Piece, or it looks like some other kind of anime. And not really so much One Piece. I really shouldn't say that now, because now that I look at it more, it's like, there's a big difference between this and One Piece. But point being, it was something way different than what we've seen character design and, you know, cartoon wise for the anime compared to everything that's come before it now. Like, they just completely threw out everything from the old cast. But the cool thing is, it does look like, what we can tell is that they're kind of playing off of G. Because if you look at some of the new units, and we'll get into that later, it really does look like they took that futuristic timeline that could potentially happen that we saw with the G units, and now we actually get to see those units come to fruition. But now with new mechanics, new powers, and now we're not 24 clans, guys. We're only 7, and we're about to dive into that. Super stoked to share this with you for many reasons. And I know that most of you have already probably heard these things. You've seen the card art, you've seen like the new stuff that's going to be coming in this, and so it's like not necessarily new, but because, you know, I am a content creator, I'm a lover of Vanguard, like I want to share this. I want to give my opinions, my thoughts on this. And so let's just take a moment to, you know, absorb this a bit. So it's a new era on the planet Cray. Over 3,000 years have passed on Cray. Now, what we don't know is that while that time has passed on Cray, how much time has actually passed on Earth? Like, is it one and the same, or is time just different when it comes to Cray? That is still left to be answered. So it says, prayers of the maiden awaken, divine dragon from within the egg. Cannot pronounce that. Chakra Barthi? Anyway. It's this thing, from what I understand, because this thing is going to be like something Nirvana, and we'll look at it later because I got the art picture down below. Anyway, so it says the divinity Gize is destroyed and the divinity Messiah slumbers. An era without prayers. The deity-less era begins. Planet Krayt loses the protection of divinities and falls into ruin. New Nation Brantgate prepares for the return of Void. New Nation Catcher Sanctuary controls a floating island of the skies. Zu and Megalonica build Stoicia upon the teachings of the sages. A hero ends a civil war and establishes the Dark States. A legendary dragon egg lays dormant within the unchanging nation of Dragon Empire. This right here brings back the lore, ladies and gentlemen. Like if you were a fan of the lore prior to G, well, actually leading up into G, because somewhere along the way, Bushiroad stopped supporting the lore for the cards. That was a big turnoff for me. There was nothing more exciting than seeing the story unfold. You could go on the Wikia pages and you can just read all the different lore for the cards, and it just gave you this fantasy feeling. It gave you more of a personal touch to the clans and to the units, because then they felt more, you could resonate with them. Like you were like, I get this, I could get behind this story, and this feels pretty epic. And that was the sad part for me when they actually dropped the lore, and for them to actually start bringing that back into the series and making it a part of the card game as a whole is fabulous. I'm a huge fan. And we see here Gizeh and Messiah. Those are references to G. Okay, so we also see that hero ends a civil war and establishes a dark state. We're not, as far as I know, they haven't stated what hero that is. It could be Gear Chronicle. Could that be Chronojet? Maybe. Who knows? New Nation Brantgate prepares for the turn of Void, aka Link Joker. AKA the big bad in the Vanguard series that we all know of. Planet Krayt loses protection of divinities and falls into ruin. So we're going to be seeing the loss of some of his big protectors. Some of these big, powerful creatures that we've come to know and love are gone. Why? Why is that? What has transpired on the planet Krayt to lead to such a devastation? What has led to Gizeh being destroyed and Messiahs to slumber? These are a lot of important questions going forward into Overdress. And this is part of the reason why, like, I am super hyped for this, guys. I'm super hyped to be able to, like, start sharing this, make content for the TCG for Vanguard Overdress. Let's move forward. So, 3,000 years later, Planet Krayt has become this, as we see it. So we went from 24 clans, as I said previously, to now 7 mighty nations. Wrap your head around that for a minute. Clans are gone. Just throw that out the window. No longer do they exist. We've got 7 mighty nations. And look at the Dragon Empire, man. Like, it is blown up. Which is, I'm going to go ahead and say it, one of my favorites. We got Dragon Empire, and then we got Brant down there, baby. Yeah, that's my 2 favorites. We're going hard on that. Anyway, we also got, look, Sanctuary becomes the Keter, or Keter. I'm not sure how you want to pronounce that. Sanctuary. We've got the Dark Zone, which has now become the Dark States, which we know from like Spike Brothers, Gears, Dark Irregulars, Pale Moon have all now joined into the Dark States. And then you got, Sanctuary's got all of the Paladins, Angel Feather, OTT, Genesis. You've got Stoicia, which I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And if I'm not, I do apologize. That's going to have like, Zu, Megalonica, and all of those other, clans now built into this one nation. Brant, oh man, Nova Grappler, Link, Joker, Dimensional Police, need I go on? It's just going to be spicy. Like, this is super awesome. Like, this is going to lead to so much deck design. This is going to lend itself so that, like, you're not confined to just, I want to believe that it's not going to confine you to just one mechanic. Like, how like Kagura has retire, or Narukami has retire, or Tachikaze has, we eat our units and then we build, bonuses off of that, or, Nubatama could discard, or Murakumo could like clone itself, like ninjutsu clone arts. Does this mean that this is going to lend itself to where like now you can build a deck and it can do all these different things? Because now it's like you can play like a Dragon Empire and, I can retire, but I can discard your units, but I can also maybe eat my own units, get some power. Like, what does this mean? What kind of design and mechanics can we hope to see going forward now into Overdress that's going to lead itself to so much diversity and variety in the deck building department? I'm super excited to see what is in store for us going into the future of Overdress. If we go down here now, again, you can see all the clans that have now united under one nation. Okay. all of Megalonica, all of Zoo, Dark Zone, Stargate, Dragon Empire, United Sanctuary. And we see these new names. We see all these new names now that now, like, United Sanctuary is now the Quinter Sanctuary. Dragon Empire is still Dragon Empire because, we're dope. We're ballers like that. Stargate is the Brant Gate. Dark Zone, Dark State, Zoo, Stoatia, Megalonica, which is Grand Blue and Mermaids, is going to be, and also Aquaforce is going to be now this Lyrical Monasterio, which is awesome because if you've seen the artwork, it may be down here below. I'm not sure. It's like, looks like it sits on top of a freaking well. It's so dope. And we go down here. And we've got the Keter Sanctuary. So it was once known as United Sanctuary, is the youngest nation of planet Cray. This nation was once a holy kingdom of heroes that prized justice and order, but its territory has shrunk from civil wars and calamities. Separated into the controlling factions that looks down from the floating island and the people below that gaze upon the island. Like, that's dope, man. Like, this is going to be so huge. It's going to be so interesting to see where this goes. Like, I'm beside myself, honestly. So let's just keep going. So Dragon Empire, the only nation whose name remains even after 3,000 years, because we're awesome like that. While the nation's borders are in constant flux, it remains safe and affluent due to its great military power based on destructive weapons that meld magic and science. A dragon egg of legends lays dormant at the Red Dawn Manor within the sacred temple at the center of the Dragon Empire. Now, that's got me so stoked. We already know now that Yu, who is going to be the main character in Overdress, is actually going to be the Dragon Empire player. The hero is now going to be Dragon Empire instead of what we've seen with, like, Royal Paladin, Gold Paladin, Gears, and so forth. So it's going to be interesting to see Dragon Empire, come to the forefront and lead this generation in the next era of Vanguard. Let's look at Brant Gate. The nation known as Stargate prospered from being the Stargate of planet Cray to visitors from other dimensions. It maintains its advanced culture and national power in the new era through its high level of technology and development. To prepare for the return of Void, the citizens of Brant Gate defend themselves from invaders with the power of science and continue fighting at the borders of the world. This is pretty dope because now it looks like, you've got like Novas and Dimensional Police preparing themselves. Like, they know that this evil dark force has returned. They know that it's out there and it's coming, and that they're preparing themselves. They're preparing Cray for another invasion. And oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Like, I don't even know what to say about it, but it's just, they're already building new lore. They're already building upon what we know, and they're taking what we know and they're just like, they're going in some kind of direction. And I can't wait to see what they do with this. I can't wait to see the cards and the characters and how they interact and how they're all going to mesh and what this is going to build upon. Not just now with Overdress, but going forward with whatever this Vanguard 2.0 is going to be. Like, there's just so much hype. There's so much hype around this. Now, if we look at the Dark States, like, look at this, man. It's like an Imperial, like, dark castle. We can see some skulls down here. We see, like, this almost Dracula, like, Castlevania looking theme down here, which reminds me a lot of, like, Dark Irregulars. This gives me no Gear Chronicle vibe whatsoever. Like, this looks pure, like, Pale Moon Dark Irregulars right here. So the nation formerly known as Dark Zone is a magical nation dominated by the dark forces. The small kingdom dominated by the demon kings was once fractured, but it was reunited by the efforts of a single hero and Gear Chronicle. So who was the single hero? But we also know the Gear Chronicle played a part in this. But who is the hero is going to be the big question. With the laws of Gear Chronicle and the relationship with Dragon Empire, Dark States entered a period of prosperity. Again, it gives me chills. It gives me chills because it's like you're taking now Dragon Empire and you're mixing it with Gear Chronicle. You're taking two different factions and, like, they teamed up and somehow they brought the Dark Zone, Dark States out of this dark time and put it into a period of prosperity. Are you kidding me? This is awesome, guys. Like, you cannot not be hyped for this. So going forward, we got Stoatia, the nation with the longest history on planet Cray, Zoo, and Megalonica, where the aquatic creatures and undead army gather. They became one nation based on the teachings of the great sage Stoatia. As foreseen by Stoatia, The former zoo is a land where the world's best minds gather within the verdant reaches of nature, represented by the sacred tree. Stoacia's national power has been on a sharp rise of late due to its abundance of resources and unity of its people. I don't know what much to say about this. Like, I've never been like much on like the planet, the Megalonica side, as far as like, you know, Aqua Force is pretty awesome. You know, it's like a military force. You got the mermaids, then you got the pirates with like, you know, Grand Blue and stuff. But like, you know, now we're mixing those with great nature and what have you, and like maybe like Neo Nectar and Mega Colony. So like you see this abundance, like this just gives you a whole like almost like druid vibe almost. And it looks really, really awesome to see the different areas of the planet Krayt now, and like what they have become, what they're like aiming towards doing with these different nations. And I'm super hyped for that. I am super hyped for that. All right, so moving on, we've got major changes to the trading card game, TCG, if you would. They've really turned the game on its head in a sense. There's a lot that still kind of remains the same, while there's also a lot that is going to turn this game into something fresh, something new, while still remaining Vanguard. So it says, in Overdress products, the clan notation on the card will be replaced with the nation name instead. So no longer, you know, we're going to see clans. Obviously, we're going to just see Dragon Empire, Brant, Dark State, things like that, instead of seeing the clan names. Okay, so there will be a D icon on the bottom left. This little thing right here. We saw something similar in the V series when we had the V's at the bottom. That's just to differentiate, you know, the series, the series, and you know where it's going to stand in like the different formats for the TCG. So this is just their way of like breaking it down so that there's no confusion on where certain cards lie in the different formats. So for the new standard format, each deck can only build with cards from the same nation and with the D icon. Choose one nation from the cards with D icons to make a deck. So I mean, obviously, if you're going to be building Dragon Empire, you're just going to take anything from that pool, that giant pool of cards, and now you can make a Dragon Empire deck. But as long as it's got the D icon, like, you know, this is pretty simplistic. But this is also the dragon I was telling you guys about right here. It looks like Chakra Barthi, and I hope I'm saying that right. And if I'm not, I apologize if I'm butchering that. Divine Dragon Nirvana. So for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna call him just, you know, Divine Dragon Nirvana, because that's just a lot easier than Chakra. Which Chakra sounds cool, so it's like energy. But anyway, I don't know. He's kind of cool. He's got like some like Phoenix wings back there and some stuff. I don't know. He's really, really dope. Anyway, regarding support for nation-based decks, it says, for clan-based decks so far, direction for Vanguard has been to support all 24 clans at least once a year. At least a long period between each time a clan gets support for few chances to enjoy upgrading your deck. So it looks like, I guess, maybe in like premium formats, we're still going to see like once a year where we're going to get support for the individual clans. So like, even though we're going from clans to nations, that they're not just letting go and forgetting about, you know, the clans as individuals in the premium format. And I think that's a smart move to be able to try and support both formats, because there are players who enjoy, you know, different formats more than others. Myself, I'm gonna be playing standard. I just cannot afford between the TCG and Zero to keep up with all those different formats. That just gets way too expensive. And we're gonna talk on prices here in a minute. But anyway, let's look here. So the new card types, old, are gonna be VR, triple rare, double rare, rare, and common. So now we're actually going back to, you know, triple rare, double rare, rare, and common. But now we've got an X here, so we don't know what this is. We've gotten some ideas, but it says card rarities get a revamp. In addition, there will be new card rarities introduced in the future Overdress products, such as H, which is going to be hollow, which are foil versions of some rare and common cards, and DSR, Dress Secret Rare Rarity, a rare and ultra valuable card that every booster will have. That's pretty dang dope if you ask me. So that means, you know, you've got the chance to actually see some common and rare ones become this foil version. So like, if you're a very big shiny, I gotta have all the foil cards, this would be a way to bling out your deck. This would be a very big way to bling out your deck. I'm kind of a fan of this. Hopefully the prices don't get too outrageous in the secondary market. We'll see, because we don't know how like common is it going to be to see these hollow versions. I'll be curious to see the ratio on that going forward. And I'm pretty sure Dress Secret Rares are going to be like SPs. maybe VR rarity, where it's going to be not nearly as common to see as ultra rares. And ultra rares, you know, they're more common than not, but I don't know. We'll see. So new tournament formats. Current is going to be standard, obviously. Cards with the D icon only. Then we're going to have standard and V premium, so cards with the V icon only. And then we've got premium, where everything is good. Everything is on the table. You can use anything from any format. So again, they are trying to accommodate to all players from all points in the community as to what they, you know, desire to play. And I think that's a very smart move, so that this doesn't crash the secondary market like it did back in the day when we started transitioning from regular Vanguard into G era. And we saw the economy of the secondary market just plummet because everything that came before G era just lost so much value. You couldn't play it. Why the heck would you buy it? Why would you keep it if you can't play it? And that really hurt. And I think Bushiroad learned their lesson. They're like, oh, we made a big mistake when we did this. And so they've managed to, even with V, to keep making sure that they can support all the different versions of Vanguard that has come before. And I think, again, that's a very smart move on their behalf. Now, this is a part that I'm super excited to mention, is going to be the ride deck. So we knew, like, originally, like, in normal Vanguard, we would lose out to being grade stuck. There was times you would just brick, okay? And that always felt bad, because then you wouldn't lose the skill. You didn't lose because you misplayed. You lost because you couldn't ride properly. They tried to fix that in G when they gave us G assist, because then you could just, you know, you took out a couple of G units, you discarded, or you did something. I forget how many cards, because it's been a while, guys. I do apologize. So if you want to leave some comments down below, remind good old Anteiku of what the stipulations were, please feel free. But anyway, this just says, you know what, let's just forego all of that, and let's just make this a guaranteed. You set aside the cards that you want, 4 of them, and you put them in your ride deck, and you pick a 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, says step 2, hand to drop. So I'm guessing you're going to drop 1 card. I'm not sure why you would drop a card. I'm not sure why that's even a thing, because you're going to need all 4 cards to ride to the next grade. And so then you know, to ride the next grade from your ride deck. So now you're not pulling from your main deck. There's 2 decks. It's going to be the ride deck and then your main deck. I think this is good. This is good because now you get to make sure that the card that you really want to ride as your Vanguard each and every turn is the card that you actually get to ride. This leads to consistency, in my opinion, in the deck. And this also leads itself to be able to come up with a winning strategy. And now it's going to come down to a little bit of luck with triggers. Triggers are always going to be the RNG of the game. That's just how it is. But now you really get to test your mettle of, okay, this is my strategy. This is what I want, and I see myself winning with. And now you can fulfill that without a doubt. You know, each and every game I'm riding this particular card, and that feels good. That feels good from a consistency standpoint, in my opinion. So if we keep moving forward, it says regarding the ride deck. Question, is the ride deck allowed in V Premium and Premium? No, the ride deck is only allowed in standard format. That's a little hurtful, because I feel like that might have been like a chance to fix maybe some other decks. It may, you know, been an opportunity that I feel like they missed upon. I'm not sure why they're not allowing that, unless they're just trying to keep that something special, something relevant to just standard, to show the difference between the different formats. I'm not sure. Do we use separate sleeves from the main deck and ride deck, or do we use the same sleeves? The sleeves from the main deck and the ride deck must be different. There is no issue even if the sleeves are different with the ride deck. So now that's going to be kind of crazy, because now you got to have 2 sets of sleeves. So now we got to have like a ride deck sleeve, and we got to have a main deck sleeve. I mean, it's all right. I mean, people buy it. I'll buy it. So for cards that are placed within the ride deck, what happens if they had to be placed into other areas? If you have to place it in the main deck, said card will be placed back to the ride deck instead. For other zones, the cards will be placed in zone indicated. Does the number of cards in the ride deck count towards the total deck count? Yes, it does. Now, this is interesting. Yes, it does. The total number of cards in the main deck and ride deck must be 50. So basically, that means if 4 of them are in the ride deck, that means you've got 46 cards in deck. So I guess that means that everything else is going to be 1s, 2s, 0s, and some 3s. for all intents and purposes, which is kind of interesting because I feel like this might lend itself to where like you have a better chance of hitting triggers. This does increase that chance of hitting, that trigger ratio. I'm kind of a fan of that since triggers play such an important role in this game. Must the copies of the same card in the main deck and ride deck be up to 4? Yes, there must only be up to 4 copies of the same card in total. If one copy is placed in the ride deck, you'll only be able to put 3 copies in the main deck. This is fine. Like, I mean, that's just kind of like, yeah, it should have been, that's kind of a given, I feel like. But like, I mean, I guess I could see where somebody would be like, well, it is a different deck. Maybe I can just still run more copies or 4 copies in the main deck and have the one in the ride deck. But I think this is fine. This kind of reminds me of buddy fight in a sense, where like, you had your buddy, but then you had the copies of the buddy actually in the deck. Can I put only grade 2 cards in my ride deck? No, you cannot. You must have 1 copy of each grade 0, 1, 2, and 3, which I mean, why? I mean, I'm not sure why that would even be a question. But I guess unless you were just trying to, grade 2 rush somebody, if that was even relevant, I'm not even sure. But anyway. Okay, so here is what I want to call the God trigger. Okay, this was one of the biggest hypes, one of the biggest like shock and awe moments for Overdress. When I started looking through the stuff on Twitter and I was hearing like people talk, and all of a sudden there's this 100 million power trigger. It was this ungodly number. Like, I don't know where they got 100 million from, but yeah. And so like I saw this trigger and I was like, oh my God, this is like a God trigger, because that's just absurd. 100 million power. I'm not again, I don't know where they got that number from, but I digress. So it says, introducing the new strongest trigger card, the Over trigger. There will be Over triggers for each nation, and only 1 copy of this card can be included in a deck. So there's so much hype surrounding this and so much controversy because everybody is just like, oh my God, it's got 100 million power. Whatever will we do? And I'm like, just cool your jets, calm down, breathe, and let's think about this for a minute. There's only one. There's one in the entire deck. There's 46 cards, 50 in all. 40 are in your ride, or 4 are in the ride deck, and then the other 46 are in your main deck. It's one card. How often are you going to hit this thing? How often are you going to drive check this thing? It's one of those things, like how often do you lose a match because somebody 6th miracle healed, or they critted you and they got through your shields and then they just ended the game because they critted you to death? What are those chances? Now, those chances are a little bit higher because there's more of those cards in the deck, but there is one of this thing. And let's just look at it for a second. This says, when revealed for damage check, you get 100 million power. So you go God mode. All right. And then it says, and nullify that damage. So this is a game changer. This is one of those, I'm going to turn the tide of battle. So either I'm losing really bad or I'm going to win really big with this thing. And that's Vanguard. Like, let's just not even joke and call it for what it is. It's Vanguard, man. Like, Vanguard is all about, not all about, but it's got RNG in the triggers. RNGs, this has always been in the game because of triggers. Sometimes you luck sack and you just hit triggers like a god. Sometimes you might get a little bit of modern. You might get a little here and there with the triggers. And sometimes you don't see a trigger for days and you're just like, where's my triggers, bro? Where's my triggers? I don't know. But this is a 1 per deck. What are the chances you're going to hit this thing? Are you more than likely going to actually draw this thing into your hand? Well, then you got a 50k shield. I don't know what the power level is going to be of our units, of our Vanguard going into Overdress. Like, how powerful are we going to be swinging for? Is that 50k going to be relevant? Or is that just like ungodly number? It was like, nope, I'm going to drop this 1 card. No pass. Just come at me, bro. Come at me. Because you're not hitting me. But here's the magical Christmas land. Here's a scenario you can think about that's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point in time. Not often. But what happens when you drive check your Over trigger and you proceed to hit their Vanguard and they hit an Over trigger? All of a sudden, you're swinging for God tier numbers. They're defending for God tier numbers. Things are happening. Magical Christmas land's going off. But look at it, though. It nullifies the damage. So if you're damaging into this thing, you take no damage. It's just like, that's cool. That's cute. And then on top of that, here's the icing. For the remainder of the turn, you get 100 million power. The rest of the turn, you're sitting at 100 mil. They're not hitting you. They might as well just say, I had a plan and it failed because this was going to happen. You're just going to be like, well, that was a nice turn. All that tempo, all that momentum, gone. And that one damage check. But that being said, though, each nation has its own type of over trigger. And what we don't know is the effects that go into those triggers. Now, that's going to go into how people would decide to play the game, because you're going to be like, Dragon Empire, that looks kind of spicy. I really like the effect of that over trigger. Or, ooh, look at Dark State. That looks very tempting. I think I might go with Dark State. So not only are you now looking at the mechanics of the clans or the nations, but you also got to put in consideration your over trigger. And to some people, it's not even going to matter what the over trigger is, because like for me, it's Dragon Empire all day or it's Brant all day. But like for others who may be new to the game, they got a lot of decision making to do. Not only mechanics, but now they got to look at the over trigger. What does that do? How's that going to benefit me? How does that fit into my winning image? There's a lot to go into it. But my thing is, do not freak out, guys. Don't be like, oh my God, it's the end of Vanguard. It's the power creep. It's back. No, it's not. This is no different than your sixth miracle heal, or your 6 damage miracle heal, or your I'm at 4 and they crit me and they take me to 6 damage and I die trigger. But it's 1. How often, I cannot stress that enough, are you going to actually hit this thing? How often is this thing going to get drew into your opening hand or into your hand? It's the ratio, guys. Just do the ratio, do the math. Like the chances are. They are slim, but it's designed to be a fun mechanic. It's designed to be something to spice up the game, to give you a chance to like come back from the clutches of defeat, or just, completely obliterate your opponent, or it's going to be the thing that's going to be like, it's a saving grace. Like there's a lot of different scenarios. It's not bad. It's the same thing we've been seeing. It just looks bigger and it's shinier because it's got this rainbow holographic look to it. And it's got this impressive 100 mil power that just is like Super Saiyan God mode. But it's Vanguard, guys. It's like, there's no reason. I'm not going to hype this. I'm not going to hype this. And I don't want you to hype it. I want you to be like, I want you to embrace it. I want you to be happy for it. I want you to look forward to it. I want you to be excited for it because it's cool. It's cool. It's just something that we've seen before. And if you look, we do have the Dragon Empire. We do have the Dark State. We do have the Brant, and we do have the Sanctuary over triggers up here. That I haven't seen the other ones yet. And if there is images of those triggers somewhere, I will try and find those and post them. I do post most of the stuff on my Twitter page and my Instagram, so you can find those there if I do come across it. But the artwork looks awesome, and obviously they're all dragons. I did not doubt that for a second that they would be dragons. But it's really cool. I think this is going to be something that's going to be a lot of fun. I don't think that it's going to be super bad. There are people who are like, I don't want to lose to this one God trigger, or you've lost to other things. You've lost to any other trigger. You've lost to stands. You've lost to crits. You've lost the heals. You've lost to a draw trigger because maybe that draw trigger gave them the power they needed to break through your shields and win the game, and you didn't have enough to defend it. I mean, just come on now. It's no different. It just looks beefier, shinier, and all nicely packaged into this over trigger, God trigger thingy. It's not that bad, guys. I promise you. I think it's going to be okay. So just, let's just sit back and wait and see what it brings. And with that being said, let's dive into the next part of this video with the products and what we can look forward to. So speaking of fun, let's move on. New products. This is where it's going to get interesting. And I'm going to hype up my boy 50 Card right quick, okay? We're going to get into that. So, new products. Start your journey right on Planet Cray with these new products. The below starter decks come pre-constructed and will be retailed at an affordable price. And when they say affordable, Bushiroad really meant affordable, because now the MSRP of these decks is only $3.99. $4, $4 out of your wallet for an entire trial deck fully custom for you to take it out of the box and start slinging cardboard. I like that. I'm a fan. So, available May 14th of 2021. Get your decks from a friendly retailer near you. AK, my boy at the top, 50 card. We're going to show him. I'm going to show him real quick. Go hit my boy up. Go hit him up. Get your cards. Get anything you want. Because let's look at this real quick. Let's go back. Okay, so we're going to get a Dragon Nation or Dragon Empire deck. Our boy, Yu. Okay. Danji Momoyama. Nation Dark State, Toyo Abada, Keter Sanctuary, Megumi Okura, Stoatia, and Tamari Seto. Brent Gate. Seto Kaiba, maybe? Maybe it's his waifu. I'm not sure. But anyway, huge fan. All these, $4. $4. That is less than half, or more than half, the price off of a normal trial deck in any other format we've ever seen in Vanguard. Because normally, a trial deck goes anywhere from 10 to 12. $4. So now that 10 to 12, you're getting 2 to 3 copies of a trial deck for the price of one original trial deck back in the day. Wrap your head around that for a second. This is freaking awesome. And I totally get why they're doing it, because they're trying to bring in more players. They're trying to be new player friendly and draw in a bigger audience to get their game out there and start competing even more with the likes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, Magic, Pokemon, okay, the big 3 kings of card games. Like, Cardfight Vanguard is very popular, and it is my all-time favorite card game, and I will forever love it. But it has struggled to compete in the market against those other notorious, infamous card games because of publicity. Like, we did not get an anime on kids' cartoon networks for them to watch. We didn't get, Walmarts and Targets full of Vanguard cards. You can walk into any Walmart. You're going to find Yu-Gi-Oh! You're going to find Pokemon. You're going to find Magic. You will not find Vanguard. Only for a brief moment in 2013 did I see some Walmarts actually carry Vanguard cards. That did not last long due to marketing. But now is the chance. Now is the time for Bushiroad to publicize and put this game out there so that we can grow this community, so that we can expand and become competitive with the other card games. And this is a brilliant marketing strategy on their part. And I fully endorse this. So also, real quick, further power up your deck with the first booster pack too. Each booster pack will release now features support for all 5 main nations, which means there will be something for everyone, regardless of which nation you support, and it's going to be available May 21st. Get your cards from a friendly retailer. My boy up here, 50 card. I've already locked in mine. I got 2 sets, already pre-ordered of all the damn trial decks. Super excited. Number of card types, total is 120. Triple rare is going to be 10. Double rare is 15. Also, let's see, double rare is 30, commons is 65. I'm a little confused on that because it says triple rare 10 types, double rare is 15 types, but then it says double rare 30 types. So I'm not sure. Maybe it meant rare. I think that was a typo where it should have been rares. Yeah, that should have been rares because they don't have rares up there. You get 2 types of the dress secret, and then you get 40 SPs, which is that's a lot of SPs. The hollows, you're going to get 50. And a token card. Now, I'm not sure what the token card is going to be all about. I haven't really seen that. And then it tells you all the nations. So all 5 nations. And we look here. This is going to be Yu's big Kagero card, or Dragon Empire. Sorry, I can't call it Kagero anymore. It looks dope. I'm super stoked to see what this thing's going to do. I love the artwork. So if you're curious, guys, my boy 50 card. If you go up here, let's go to shop. Okay. Let's go clan overdress. Overdress right here. Okay. This is what I bought today. So 5 times start deck bundle. You're going to get all 5 copies for $21.99. So for $22, you get all 5 starter decks. All 5 of them. Whole big bundle. Go ahead and lock in your orders, guys. Support this guy. He's a big friend of the community. You can find him on Twitter. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him on Twitch. Go and support this guy. Lock in your orders. Like, you'd be crazy not to. You'd be crazy not to. But please, go and support my boy. With all this being said, there's so much hype still surrounding this card game. There's still so much we don't know, and every day they're trickling out little bits and pieces of information for Overdress. I'm not only excited for the card game, I'm excited for the anime. I'm excited for everything that this has to offer, and I hope and I pray that this is what's going to put Vanguard on the map. I want to see Vanguard in every store. I want to see Vanguard in every card shop. I want to see Vanguard on TV. I want Vanguard to just explode and become the card game that it needs to be, because it is a wonderful, wonderfully designed game. It is beautiful. The card art, the mechanics are like nothing you see in any other card game. And I'm just a huge fan. I hope that you guys have found this video helpful. I hope that maybe I shed some light on some things. Maybe I touched on something that you didn't know. And if I didn't, that's cool. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. And if you would, please drop some love in the comments below, guys. Let me know, what are you excited for? What are your thoughts and opinions on Overdress? And, you know, what clans or what nations will you be playing going forward in the future when this actually hits the shelves and we can actually start slinging some good old Overdress cardboard around? But anyway, I digress. Until next time, guys, please stay strong, stay healthy, and as always, happy gaming.